Yesterday, Minister for Social and Family Development Desmond announced that some $20 million will be pumped in to help the social service sector adopt technology and tackle a manpower crunch. So for more, we're joined today by Anita Fam, President of the National Council of Social Service, and Dr Ethan Chu, co-founder and CEO of Xjera Labs, a Singapore-based startup that specializes in facial recognition technology. Thank you very much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Anita, I want to start with you. So the new funding hopes to get social service agencies to adopt technology. So the question is, why is it so important for this sector, and how can it actually complement the work of social service workers here?
Well, as with the rest of Singapore, there is really a lot of pressure on manpower, and we need to find smarter ways of doing things. So the things that can be done by machines or by technology, we should leave that to be done so we can have the people, the humans, actually doing the warm body type of things, the sort of work. So this is an area where really it's a productivity drive to actually make the lives of all the people in the social service sector, the way they work, slightly easier. So it really cuts out the things which, if they can be done by technology and by machines, that's what we should do.
Okay, so Ethan, I'm going to bring you into this conversation here. You know, your company came up with an integrated system. So let me get this right. It can monitor, predict behavior, as well as perform facial recognition using video analytics.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so share with us an example of how this can be used in the sector.
Yeah, so right now, like the social service workers, they have to spend like a lot of time to look at the screens and to look out for any potential incidents, such as whether there are like patients running away, or like there are patients who are actually staying in the restroom for like a very long time. And our system, it can automatically detect those incidents and alert the social service workers automatically, so that the social service workers, they can spend their time to do other things so as to basically increase the productivity. For example, previously they probably can only like monitor like 10 screens at a time, and now they probably can monitor like 30 screens at a time.
Oh, that's because the technology will enable them to, you know, weed out all the other unnecessary information.
Exactly.
Okay, so what other kinds of technology do you think can help social service workers in their jobs then?
Basically the technologies are probably things like video analytics, face recognition, and all kinds of like big data analytics, as well as the general like the AI technology. All these technologies, and also probably some of the like Internet of Things, those like wearable technologies. We believe that those are the future technologies that can be applied in the social service sectors.
Okay, Anita, just now you mentioned there about the pressure on manpower, but why is it such a huge challenge for the industry though?
You know, it's many things. I think sometimes people get the impression that this is a sector that is just completely run by volunteers, and those who are in the sector are very, very poorly paid. And we're trying to dispel that, because actually it's a sector that is run by professionally trained people, and actually the salary isn't as bad as people believe it to be. So with that, and also with manpower shortages, because everyone wants warm bodies, whether it's in this sector or another. So we're all fighting over having human beings come into our sector. And the social service sector is a care sector. There are many, many aspects of the sector where we really do need people. But it should be people who are doing the appropriate and right things. So we can have some machine, some technology that can just ease that burden, and to allow these persons, you know, to really do what they're trained for. That's what we should do. Okay, so how do you attract them to the social service sector then? Many ways. I think a lot of people with heart will find that this is a sector that resonates with them, because it is a place of doing good, and especially with millennials now, they look for a lot of purpose in life. And this sector has a lot of purpose. We've actually started benchmarking of salaries, so people realize that actually we pay fairly competitively. It's not as if it's such a large gap as it used to be. And really, it's a whole range of stuff now that one can do in the sector. It is a sector which is professionalized, and we do need the various types of corporate services which we have in the other sectors. Right, so it's a hardware for the hardware. Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us. We've been speaking there with Anita Fam there,
President of the National Council of Social Service, and Dr. Ethan Chu, co-founder and CEO of Xjera Labs, a Singapore-based startup that specializes in facial recognition technology.